Welcome to Digital Waves, here today at Tribes Amstel. Welcome, Tienko Rasker, founder of Leapfunder. You call it an angel community, but a lot of people think it's a crowdfunding platform. How do you describe it?
Well, we don't use the C word. The philosophy behind it was co-founded by a number of angel investors, classical angel investors, and the notion is that they want to standardize their contracts, because usually after a lot of negotiation and fuss, they wind up with basically the same contract for all their investment. So let's have a standard contract, and let's above all bring angel investing into the 21st century. So let's do transaction execution online, all digital, so that transaction costs go down effectively to zero, and I can do it from my sofa on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. So but what is the difference between having an angel community and a crowdfunding platform?
Well,
from your perspective?
The big difference is anonymity. So a traditional angel invests 100,000, 200,000 and knows the company very well and has direct impact on the management, simply because there's a relationship there. They speak. The angel goes to visit. The angel is involved in big decisions. We do the exact same chemistry. So you get to know the person, you pick them individually, whether you let them into your data room at all. The data room is full of all sorts of highly confidential stuff, so it's a very limited number of people that get admitted to a data room.
It's like classical investment, right? You need like due diligence, everything, you know.
Yeah. They do all the due diligence themselves. We just provide all the information that they would need in a central place, so that it's possible to do a traditional angel investment, including the relationship building and the contracting, with 10, 15 people. That's not normally possible. If you have 10, 15 angel investors and you go through the manual process, you send them an email with a draft contract, you get 15 opinions back. But because we standardized it and we put the data room up front, the transaction execution is easier and it's standard.
Yeah.
We don't allow seed funding because we harshly limit the maximum number of investors per round, and we harshly limit the number of people you can admit to the data room, and all admissions are one by one.
So you mean the startups and the investors? So
the investors get admitted, they apply to be admitted to the data room, and then they're selected to go in.
Yeah. So basically, once you're having a, can you call it a crowdfunding round live? Or if you have an angel round live, maybe that's a better word, an amount of funding is put into the startup. How does that work? Does the startup get that money all at once or per investment? How does it go about?
The investors just click and pay, and the cash arrives. It's held in a safe place away from the startup until enough money has been collected so that the round is meaningful. There's no point in transacting the round if there's only one investor for 5,000. There's got to be enough money there so that they can actually progress towards the next milestone. So that's minimum is predefined. When that minimum is reached, the startup can collect their cash. They simply press a button, right, and various legal processes start in the background, and about 1 to 2 weeks later they get the cash.
So let's say I'm a startup founder, I just founded my startup, I need some cash, I go to you. What kind of typical rounds are you talking about? 50,000, 100,000, 1 million?
Average I think is just over 100,000. I think it's like 115 the average at the moment. But a typical round is 15 investors for 10,000 euros each. And they start from 30 to 50,000 and they go up to 1 to 2 million.
So how do you make money? Do you charge money with the investor or do you charge money with the startup?
We charge money from the startup. We like to say we're about as expensive as a lawyer would be.
How expensive is a lawyer?
Well, I mean, if you pay the full fee for the legal work that needs to get done, if you have a small consortium of angel investors, you're very likely to pay 10, 15,000 euros. That could happen. Because you need an SPV, so a stack in the Netherlands, you need the convertible contracts, so the editing rounds and so on and so forth. So that's going to be
what's a stock? Expensive. Maybe explain very briefly.
Stock is in the Netherlands the standard way of pooling small investors so that they act as a block.
Sort of like a foundation.
Is a stichting, yes, Stichting Administratiekantoor. And that stichting has no other purpose than to own the shares legally. So there's one owner of shares, and then to split the economic benefits of that block of shares amongst a larger number of smaller investors.
And does it also mean that there are less people who have a vote into the company, that the stock acts as one spokesperson?
That's correct. So there's only one shareholder and therefore only one block vote in the cap table.
Yeah. So, but you haven't really explained how much money you make on average per startup. You said 10, 15,000. So this is cheaper. So can you name like a percentage or something that you make out of a startup?
The list price right now, the list price for the first band of 300,000 is 5.5% in the Netherlands.
Okay. Okay. Is that a lot?
No, I don't think so. A credit card is 3%. So, you know.
So you're almost as cheap as a credit card,
Yes.
or more expensive.
Well, we're almost twice as expensive as a credit card over the first 300,000. But still, that as a sort of transaction fee is not a crazy amount, given what needs to happen legally in between. We're not just bringing money from A to B like a credit card company. What's happening is that you're actually closing a fully legal angel round. So the stuff that needs to happen, a data room needs to be put together, the legal documentation needs to be in place, transaction execution needs to happen. For that entire package, 5.5% is a reasonable rate.
So it's not just getting angels fund startups online. You actually put them together offline as well. You organize roundtable sessions, all kinds of things like that. Why do you do that?
Well, we believe that the face-to-face component is and always has been, and I suspect always will be, very important in angel investing. Angel investors like to see their entrepreneur, like to meet their entrepreneur, formally and informally. Now, our concept is that rather than having all the angels go to a lot of companies, which means that they have to reserve a lot of evenings to go visit sessions,
a lot of drinks.
What we could do is we could just have a monthly regular meeting where everybody comes together in one place. And it's the neutral ground. And if people want to avoid each other, they can stand at the other side of the room. And if people want to meet, they can find each other.
Are startups a bit scared of investors, would you say?
I think they are.
Or impressed?
They are until they've met some, right? So if a startup is just raising and they have no idea what it is, angel investing, then they might get all confused. One of the good things about our regular monthly meetings is that if you have a good proposition and you can get in touch with us, you can sign up, and within a month, essentially, we can introduce you to some real investors. And at our meetings, it's forbidden to pitch, no pitching, but you can ask for advice. We always say, if you ask for money, you'll probably only get advice. Whereas if you ask for advice, you might get some money. So
that works.
That works. So we get their mentoring sessions. You sit with one or two investors and you talk about your business problems. See if they get it. See if they can help you along. And if a good chemistry happens, then maybe afterwards during the drinks, a conversation will start about making an investment, perhaps.
I actually went to one of those roundtable sessions with the startup once, and I call them the pool of death, the group of death with the investors we had there.
Or did they burn you to the ground?
No, but they actually really gave some solid advice, but it didn't feel like they were ready to pour money in us straight away. So it feels like a little bit of, you're talking to a lot of people, but you're not really selling there yet. Is that also the kind of atmosphere that you want to radiate?
It's not a sales. It's not a pitching session. It's not about that. Actually, we don't explain it that way to startups anyway. We say to startups, this is a session where you get to make your worst mistakes in a friendly environment.
Friendly fire only.
A friendly fire, because what's going to happen is that you're going to talk to 1, 2, 3, 4 investors. They're there to help out people and get a sense for the market. You're going to learn that there's actually a gap between what you've got and what they're looking for. And that means that the conversations after that are going to be much better. So what we say to people is, look, the majority of capital in all our rounds is actually investors that you find, that we've never met before.
Okay, right.
But 60% of any round is capital that the startup finds, not us. That's been the average.
So you have to put in a lot of work yourself as a startup as well, right?
No,
I mean, it's not just lay back.
It's all about you. They're investing in you, right? All we do is transaction execution, and guidance. So what we do is we can introduce you to some real investors, and these are real investors at our events, and you can find out how they think. Yeah. And it's a spectrum. They're not the same at all, and they're different, and different instincts and different opinions and all that.
So how do they think? How does an investor think?
Depends what he's into.
But let's say a typical e-commerce investor. What are they looking for?
The decision patterns of an angel investor form over decades. through a range of professional experience that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
Either they've been very successful as entrepreneurs, or they've had other careers where they've been very successful, and so they usually have deep expertise in a few things.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's what interests them now.
So they know everything about the shit you're trying to nail.
No,
you can't just make any bullshit up, right?
They may know nothing about what you're doing, but because they
Mm.
may have had their expertise in a totally different thing, right?
Mm.
And so one of the things that makes it difficult when you're pitching to angel investors, if you line up 10 of them and you talk to them, is that no 10 of them are the same, not at all. They don't use the same decision format.
So it's very unpredictable, right?
That's correct. You really have to respond to that person. So you explain a little bit about what you do, and you start to sense the kind of questions that they're asking, and you build on that. Try and see where it takes you. And with some investors, it's never going to work, no matter what you say. And with some investors, within 30 seconds, they're in. They want to be part of it, right? We like to say that the point where you start talking about money with an investor, our corporate philosophy now is that you talk about your business, you figure out whether that investor understands your business and can contribute to it. And then when you get to the point where he understands, or he or she understands, we need money if we want to do X, that's the point where you could say, well, now that we're agreeing X needs to happen, then we need money for it.
Yeah. Where the money now?
Are you in?
Yeah.
Right? And that's, I think, is a fundamental thing. You're first engaging in a business relationship. Do you want to be part of this? And then if they want to be part of it, and you're thinking the same, then you say, okay, well, you provide the capital, I'll go do the hours. And that's how we partner.